Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me today. In case you didn't know, it's been about 6 months since I decided to fly off an electric scooter and fracture 2 of my ribs and my left humerus. I have since been in intensive therapy trying to get my arm back with mixed results so far. Since lots of you have been asking about my arm and how I've been doing lately, for which I am sincerely and deeply grateful to you all by the way, I thought I'd make a short update on the state of my health, my halted career as a dentist, and my life as an unwilling full-time YouTuber. Well, turns out my fracture was kind of a big deal. This is what my shoulder looks like through an x-ray, and just in case you're asking, no, this is not a picture of Wolverine that I took out of Google, and no, the doctor said that my insurance does not cover fitting me with retractable adamantium claws. I mean, the opportunity was right there, so couldn't hurt to ask, right? After about a month of the most constant and excruciating pain I have ever lived through, a truckload of morphine, antidepressants, and insomnia, I finally started getting better and began my physical therapy sessions. In terms of personal growth, this was actually a period I'm really thankful for. It's amazing how much we take our bodies and our abilities for granted, and suddenly being unable to do something as simple as lifting my arm up really put things in perspective. If there was just one thing that I could share with you that I've learned through all this, is that every morning that you wake up with full use of your limbs and of your mind, every morning that you don't have a problem with your spouse or at work, every day that you had a good night's sleep and your head or stomach doesn't hurt, appreciate it. Take it all in. Be thankful. You don't know how great it is to have a healthy body until you don't. In the last 5 months, my shoulder has constantly been reminding me that it has half the inventory of a hardware store in it. Thankfully, the pain is bearable, but it's always there. I wake up with it, I have lunch with it, I go to bed with it. And I pretty much learned to live with it, but accepting that this is the new me hasn't really been easy. And by far the thing that I miss the most is just the simple act of being able to pick up both of my kids at the same time. In the first few months after my surgery, slowly but surely, my mobility and my strength improved. And I started being able to do most things around the house well enough. Just in case my wife is watching, washing dishes and folding laundry still hurt, it's out of the picture, and I refuse to do it until the doctor says so. The thing is, about 2 months ago, my progress hit a wall, and I haven't been able to recover the range or the strength to get back to work. My biggest problem is external rotation, basically being able to do this with this arm. That's as far as it goes. To give you an idea of my situation, I can't reach the lower end of my bass guitar, so if I try to play bass, I'm only playing the high notes, so technically I'm just playing a 4-string normal guitar. Same for guitar as well. I can only play the high notes, so it's more like a mandolin. And I don't own or play a mandolin, so I can't really say what it would sound like if I tried to do that either. But I digress. My career as an NBA player has also gone out the window. The doctor suspects that this limitation in my recovery may be one of 2 things. Either my capsule is frozen due to bad healing or fibrosis, or one of my steel beams might be hurting one of my tendons. To give you an idea of how bad I heal, this is the scar that the incision left. Avert your eyes if you get queasy. That's the beginning of the scar, and this thing goes down here, so pretty bad. To get a picture of what's going on, yesterday I was stuck by a needle directly into my shoulder capsule and was infiltrated with some meds that should lower the inflammation and kind of unfreeze my shoulder. In a month or so, the doctors will look at my case again and decide whether or not a second surgery might be needed. So I guess that's good news, because there are still options available, so I'm going to try to stay optimistic. Of course, I'll try to let you know as soon as I have more information, but that's all the health stuff out of the way. What about my livelihood? Well, for now, the dentistry gig is in the freezer. Besides not being able to look cool while I throw my hair back, I can't perform procedures with my arm in its current state. And by the looks of things, it's probable that I won't be in operating condition before at least a good 2 or 3 months from now. Which brings me to this YouTube channel. When I started this channel, I did so because I wanted to connect with other music aficionados and connect with the synth and sampler community, since none of my real life friends have any interest in any of these things, to be honest. With time, the channel grew, and it started becoming much more than a hobby, and I sometimes even fantasize about going full-time, leave dentistry behind. Well, thanks to my accident, I kind of became an unwilling full-time YouTuber, and it's been pretty eye-opening in more ways than one. I know it's a very popular trend nowadays that day jobs suck and you should establish your brand and go out and conquer the world and blah blah blah, but I think that's not always right. In my case, I love my dentistry gig, and one of the aspects that I love most about it is that as soon as I have my gloves, that's it. It's over. I don't have to think about anything about my job since I can't bring my patients with me. Every now and then I'll maybe study a more complex case just to make sure I'm making the right decisions, but that's the exception rather than the rule. With YouTube, your mind is never off. It's always a constant brainstorming session trying to figure out something, anything that you might do for your next thing. This includes when you're out to dinner with your wife or when you're playing with your kids. The job is never over. I found that a full-time creative's job is extremely demanding as there's no real path ahead and you just have to plow through and make new roads. It's pretty crazy when you think about it, but YouTube is both a dream come true for people who don't fit in the corporate little box, while also being one of the most mentally demanding and challenging jobs I've ever faced. For me, it's been an amazing outlet for creativity and a chance to connect with a larger community of similarly minded people. It's also given me the excuse to explore some of the most interesting and sought after synth and sampler this world has ever come up with, while not incurring in the wrath of my better half, because it's an investment, right? But I would give a word of caution for anyone out there who has ever thought about putting all their eggs in this particular basket. YouTube can be very awesome, but it can also be very lonely. The comments can get really nasty, and it usually takes years before you can make a profit on this platform, let alone make a living. Now, I don't want to sound negative here. I consider myself to be one of the lucky ones. Besides my amazing wife and my kids, this channel is a very large part of what's kept me going these past few months, both emotionally and financially. My relationship with you, our conversations in the comments, this strange yet tangible interaction where we share a common interest for music and music making gear has been an oasis when I was the most desperate. And as such, I want to thank each and every one of you who have ever watched any of my videos, no matter if you commented or liked it or not. Thank you. I also want to thank my patrons, not only for their financial support, but their warm hearts, their constant ability to make me smile, and for being some of the best people I've had the luck of ever meeting. We're a bunch of misfit nerds, and I love you all for it. And finally, and I know this will be widely scrutinized, but I want to thank the companies that have sponsored me or sent me gear in these past few months. The truth is, without my dentist job, I can't afford to keep buying these machines that we love so much and keep making videos on them. So thanks to the support of third parties, I've been able to keep this dream of mine alive a little longer. Over the past 4 or 5 years, I've always been keen on safeguarding the one thing that should make you trust me, my reviews, or my opinions, and that has been my integrity. I've always been as transparent as possible, and by doing that, I hope I've gained that trust. In the coming months, I plan to make a ton of videos, and I hope to always bring you something that inspires you to make your own music, or teaches you something new about a synth or a sampler that you're learning, or maybe help you decide if a piece of gear is right for you or not. That mission has not and will not change. My goal here has always been to share this joy and love that we share for our music and our gear. And that's why I want to be really upfront with you and let you know that these coming months, you're probably going to see more sponsored content that you're used to on this channel. Please know that my commitment to you will always be absolute, and that the people and the companies that I've chosen to work with have all been handpicked precisely because they understand that you, my viewer, always comes first. Having said that, I have a bunch of new projects lined up that I can't wait to share with you. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your empathy and your patience. If you'd like to further support my channel and what I do here, remember that you can do so by something as simple as buying your gear with an affiliate link and joining my Patreon and Discord community, or even just clicking a like and leaving a comment. Everything and anything you do will always be appreciated by me. Anyway, I hope you have a great week. See you next time.